and gentlemen, welcome back to the Out of Shape podcast, where a trio of unathletic, white, retired basketball players give their terrible sports takes. You know, after last episode, according to our viewers, their favorite segment was us when we weren't talking about sports for only 3 minutes of the video. So we're going to continue to do that and hopefully get the female audience viewership up. Drew, let's hear your icebreaker of the day before we hop into the sports segment.
Well, I felt like this was a very relevant topic in our lives. And the icebreaker question is Qdoba or Chipotle?
Great question. Very great question. Me and Jerry were actually talking about this earlier.
That's an easy one.
It's very easy in my opinion. And I'm extremely biased.
It is a very easy decision for me.
All right, so if you think about it, before we start, or before we give our answers, because I think we're all on the same page here.
I'm not. Probably not. If you're biased.
No, I think we're all on the same page.
So if you bring in the whole factor of price, as well as what you get for your money, as well as quality, there's one place that just sweeps. So say all the answers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Qdoba.
Qdoba. Yeah.
Let's go. All right. If you're watching, hold up. Let me get out of my setup here. If you're watching,
stolen Asbury
please
chair.
Please Chipotle, don't be watching. Please Chipotle. I work at Chipotle.
That hat's kind of drippy. Wow.
But there's still a clear answer in my eyes.
The only thing that holds me back against Chipotle's queso is not good, and they don't emphasize much on queso.
Yeah, their queso's so mid.
Chipotle,
compared to other places.
I like their guac. Their guac is good.
I'm not a big guac guy.
Yeah, no, not either.
I'd rather have.
I really love Qdoba's queso and the price. The price is so much better than Chipotle.
Yes, I went like 2 weeks ago with me and our girl, and it was like $35 for 2 drinks, some chips and guac, and 2 burritos.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
So crazy.
Can we roll the clip of when Connor Harrison threw a burrito at Chipotle?
No.
I don't think Aaron found that funny.
For legal reasons, of course, I love Chipotle and I prefer them for sure. And I love them so much. And they are my favorite.
Okay, buddy.
Now can we get into something interesting?
Wait. Do you say Qdoba, Qdoba, or Doba?
Qdoba.
I say Q.
I say Quadoba. Is that weird?
You're saying it wrong, man.
Do you emphasize the Q?
Yes.
What's the Q stand for?
The letter and the word.
But it's like QD.
Quadoba.
Not Q.
Qua?
I say Quadoba.
Gosh, you're so weird.
Or
Qdoba.
Doba.
It's not. It's Qdoba.
The Q scares me.
Yeah, you are scared, little boy.
All right, that was not as interesting as a Chick-fil-A topic, but clearly because we all agreed by far. So let's hop into the actual reason why we're here. So, of course, we got to see the first week of NBA All-Star break after. Wow, I said that terribly wrong. We saw the NBA after All-Star break, and it had a lot of differences. 2 main ones. We got to see the new look 76ers. Jerry and Drew, what would you like to talk about how James Harden impacts that team?
I think That is a great trade for the 76ers. I thought it was a win-win deal when it originally happened because it gives the Nets more depth, but it also gives the 76ers another like superstar that they're looking for in a pair. And I think Harden and Embiid are pretty like unstoppable. I watched the game on Sunday. They played the Knicks. It just was not fair. I think James Harden in a 76ers uniform looks about as good as he has his entire career. By the way, he's been scoring and passing the ball. And he's also had a huge impact on how Tyrese Maxey's been playing. And his game's only getting better thanks to James Harden. So I think that made the 76ers, I think they're like a bottom tier contender to a top contender by making that trade.
Jerry?
Yeah, they got a new big three in Philly. Tyrese Maxey, his game's developed so well. Harden's just gonna keep on showing him the reins. He can finally play his position. I think Harden can bring up the ball more with Tyrese at the shooting guard position, let him do his own thing. But I mean, if you look at Harden's stats, I think he got 16 assists last game. I mean, that's not normal. But that's gonna be a great trio. There's gonna be a lot of free throws. Might be boring to watch, but they'll win you some games.
Goodness.
Yeah, for sure. Like watching them was not fun whatsoever because it's just whistle, 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 whistle. But goodness, they'll win games for sure.
I never thought I would like James Harden, but now I kind of like him on the 76ers.
It kind of makes you wonder though, like what was so bad in Brooklyn? Why is he so happy all of a sudden?
I think. Well, he did say when he was getting traded from Houston, his number one destination was Philly. And
Yeah, but
I don't like.
was
I
it?
think he wanted to be in. I mean, I think he wanted to be away from Houston, and I think Brooklyn was like his top three. But I definitely believe that Philly was his number one because I don't think he just flips a switch into being super happy like that fast from a trade.
Yeah. I think it was Kyrie. I think he was pissed at Kyrie.
Yeah,
I think Kyrie. I think KD and Harden are both pissed at Kyrie.
Yeah,
I think you can go.
I think the only problem was Kyrie. I don't think KD and Harden had any beef.
I think
it's
KD is
only
very
Kyrie.
unsatisfied with Kyrie, but he can't. He never expresses it publicly. Like he's very good with the media. He never is like, we hate Kyrie. He's kind of just like, we'll make a do. But I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm jealous of James Harden right now. He's out there dishing, diming. He looks just as good as he ever has. And he looks really good playing out there. We were talking before this, Drew, that James Harden really knows how to play the fat off, and I think Zion took notes, but he actually did it in the wrong way. He didn't realize that James Harden was wearing a fat suit half the time. He thought James Harden actually got to 400 pounds and just lost it.
Hey, I think Zion, I feel more optimistic after last week than I did last week that Zion will play another game as a Pelican.
Why? Because he put them on their story.
Well, I feel like honestly, he's just been laying low and like kind of hoping that like nobody would really talk about him because he's a small town kid. And I think when everything started to blow up is when he was like starting to like make a stand. Like he hasn't come out and made a public statement, but he started to like retweet things and like post things regarding the Pelicans. He wasn't doing that before.
I think it's because people were on his head.
That's what I'm saying. He's a small town kid. When is Zion has never really asked for attention. ESPN has gave him attention.
He's a shy boy.
He should have gotten used to attention by now. He's at
Duke. He's not Aaron Rodgers, where he's like in the news every day based off what he was saying. When was the last time you heard from Zion Williamson himself?
Because he wants out.
Exactly. He never said that.
He wants out. He told me personally. He's in Portland right now.
No.
Okay, but I was listening to Antonio Daniels, who's the greatest NBA color analyst in the league, in my opinion. He was on the Colin Cowherd today, and he was saying he was a former player, and he said no one talks about it until now because it's Zion. But players that are injured like he is rehab away from the team all the time. And that the only reason it's getting blown out of speculation and looked so deep into is because of Zion.
I think JJ Redick didn't help with that either.
No, he didn't.
He calling him out.
Threw fuel in the fire.
Yeah, that was kind of a.
Can we look into it? Is there just
not
better?
a cool moment.
Is there just better food in Portland? Could that be the reason why he's in Portland?
I saw.
I heard that like his like that like since Portland like has like the Nike stuff and he's like with Jordan and stuff and Jordan has stuff there that they had trainers there. I don't know.
Probably,
something like that. I don't know why he'd been.
Jordan buffets. I'm sure they got a bunch of Golden Corrals in the area.
Corrals.
No.
I saw a meme that said John Morant's dropping 50 points on a nightly basis while Zion's getting a 50-piece.
Yeah,
Hey, Aaron,
honestly,
where's your beads? Where's your beads? It's Mardi Gras, baby.
I promise you,
Mardi
Zion's
Gras.
Zion's not wearing his beads either.
Yes, he is.
Zion probably has bunch of the. My mic.
Hey, happy Fat Tuesday, man. Happy Fat Tuesday.
Hello, Zion. Bunch of those Smarty necklaces around his neck right now, just gnawing at them.
He's probably got a couple Mountain Dew cans around his neck.
Yeah.
Whereas
No, they're like he has like the helmet. He's the helmet with two.
That's where he's
Mountain
gonna.
Dew
That's where he's gonna be putting his championship rings by the end of his career. He's gonna run.
No, eventually he'll be on the Out of Shape podcast.
Yeah, he's gonna join us. He should be on it right now. Man, he'd be the host. Talking about out of shape. Him and Glenn Davis can easily run this show. That's what Zion's turning into. All right. We weren't even supposed to talk about the Zion, but I guess we just love flaming him. Let's talk about the other team involved in the big trade that happened, the Nets. The Nets have lost they've lost 3 out of their last 17 games. Or 14. Goodness, I can't talk today. They've only won 3 out of the last 17 games. But hopefully this new trade can turn them around, especially when KD and Ben Simmons come back. What do you guys think that on their end of the deal, can they turn it around in time for the playoffs, or are they going to be stuck in the A seed?
I think they're going to get stuck. I think they're going to get stuck. They have 15 games left. I think they're going to be stuck around that 7-8 seed. And then if they play the Bulls, I could see them upsetting, but I think they might be a one and done, especially with New York still. They passed a law that's saying you don't have to be vaccinated, but workers still have to be vaccinated. So Kyrie's still not able to play at home. And if they don't get Kyrie at home, I see that they have no chance because I watched that Nets Bucks game and Kyrie looked like he was prime Kyrie. And when he's on that floor, he's the best player on the floor. So if they can get him back, I think they can make some noise. But without Kyrie, they're not going anywhere.
He looked really good. He dropped like 38.
Yeah.
It's also to be noted that unvaccinated for the workers thing, it's by like a private business like sector in New York.
Yeah.
It's not even by like the government. And I know the mayor of was it the mayor or governor? I don't know. I think it's the mayor of New York City.
It's the mayor.
He hates it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance it goes out, but I mean, if they don't get Kyrie, you're not going to win a championship, let alone a series with just Ben Simmons and Kevin Durant out there.
Well, it just makes no sense that unvaccinated players from away games can come in and play, but if you're not vaccinated for the home team, you can't play.
Yeah, it was
Doesn't make sense.
Kyrie's legally allowed to go sit in the stands, but he can't play.
Yeah, he can warm up with them.
It doesn't make any sense.
He can't play.
It just shows you keep on making things up. Drew, what do you think about the new look Nets?
I really do like the Nets. The Nets remind me a lot of what LeBron and Cleveland was when they were like not even the 1 seed every year, but every year they made it to the finals. And obviously, they're like a 7 seed, which is another thing. But they haven't had Kyrie. He's only played 15 games this year. KD's only played 36. And I think they're still getting adjusted into things. Mark Aldridge missed time. Joe Harris. Everyone forgets about Joe Harris. He's missed time. I think if they can get healthy, and I think the X factor, like Jerry said, is Kyrie's availability. If Kyrie can play at home, I think that makes them definitely one of the I know seeding wise they won't show this, but I think they'll be top 4 contenders in the East. Because you'll have Kyrie at the 1, you'll have Seth Curry, who I think is very underrated and a great part of that trade that they got back from James Harden. KD, Ben Simmons, and Andre Drummond, who's a great guy that get in there and grab boards. You got Patty Mills, Mark Aldridge, Joe Harris, when he gets healthy, Blake Griffin, who's not, of course, not his normal self. But I think another guy that can be really good for him, they just picked up Goran Dragic. People forgot about him. I think he can be a nice bench piece if they make a run into the playoffs. I've never Kyrie and especially Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant, in my opinion, is the greatest scorer of all time.
People forget about Goran Dragic's run with the Heat bubble. He was playing the best basketball of his career, and that was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I mean, he's still in the best shape of his life. They needed a backup point guard. Yeah, he's not a not a true point guard, but he's a bucket getter. He can get you a bucket from anywhere on the court. That's a great sign. How about Joe?
Yeah,
I feel like
he's been injured. I think he's supposed to come back here pretty soon. I don't know.
I feel
He's
like he's been in a
he's
slump.
playing tonight. He's playing tonight.
I feel like he's been in a slump the past couple of years because last year in the playoffs
Currently-
he played terrible.
Wow, currently at the end of the first quarter, he has 11 points. I think this is his first game back.
Do you see if
That's
Joe Harris
nice
is
for
fully
them.
healthy? Do you see Seth Curry or Joe Harris winning that starting spot?
Seth,
Wait,
I take Seth any day of the week over Joe Harris.
They pretty much play the same role. I mean, Seth's defense might in his shot making ability. He can make
one
he
thing
makes
I'd
his own
give it-
shots.
One thing I'd give it to Seth over is if you go last year's playoffs, I know it's last year, but you go look at how Joe Harris played compared to Seth Curry. Seth Curry's playing some of the best basketball of his career compared to Joe Harris
And
playing
he
some of
was
the worst
one of the-
basketball
he was
of his
like-
career.
He was played
Terrible.
better. He had some Seth Curry had better games than Embiid did last year. He went crazy
Yeah.
in some of those games.
Yeah,
last
never
year.
mind. I read-
Seth though.
I read it wrong. Joe Harris. They're supposed to. It looks like they're about to reevaluate him right now, like within the next few days. But I mean, if he can come back, that guy's a nice piece off the bench that can shoot. And on guys where you have, because they're gonna double team KD, they're gonna double team Kyrie. You got to have guys like Joe Harris, Patty Mills, Seth Curry, guys that can knock it down. Even
Ben
LaMarcus Aldridge
Simmons.
can shoot. Yeah, Ben Simmons from standing inside the paint.
The most important thing for an NBA roster is depth, and people overlook that a lot. They just look at the starting five like, oh, that team can win it all. Depth is the most important, and the Nets got it when they can be healthy.
It's why they lost last year.
Yep.
I mean, last year they're playing the Bucks. They just had no one coming
Oh,
off
yeah.
the bench.
Kevin Durant played every minute of the
They
last
had like
3
50
games.
minutes in that one game in the overtime.
Yeah.
You
He
can't
didn't
do
go
that.
out the last 3 games.
You can't do that, especially if they're the Nets. They did. I think this trade evens out for both of them. It'd be great to see a series between them. If that could
Yeah.
happen, that'd probably be
Oh,
crazy.
Ben Simmons wouldn't be welcomed into the city.
I don't think Ben Simmons' mental health could handle it.
He might just
Dude,
stay
Ben
at the
Simmons
home
has
series.
they put a restraining order on that man from entering.
Yeah, if Ben Simmons walks in that facility, he better be playing on the court with bodyguards.
It might be like the worst homecoming game of all time. Like people will hate
Kevin
him.
Durant. I think Kevin Durant is way more hated than Ben Simmons. When he
I
went
don't
back
know.
to
I think so,
Oklahoma
too.
City.
Philly,
Going
if you
back to
think
Oklahoma
about
City.
Philly fans though,
Philly
are
fans are
crazy.
worse. Like
And
imagine
they
if
are
Kevin Durant
cold.
did that to Philly or LeBron.
If they
did that
play
to
each other
Philly.
in the playoffs, I mean that's going to be a sold out arena.
I would say the only
And they'll
thing
probably
be
wear like
great
I hate
series.
Ben Simmons shirts.
the only thing worse would be if he's on the Knicks. I think Knicks and Philly fans are most ruthless.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think both even out. The Nets got better. The Sixers got better. If they can keep developing Maxey, it's gonna be hard to beat them. If you have him coming off, you still have Tobias Harris too. They look good.
Matisse Thybulle.
The only thing about the
Defense.
Nets is what are the odds? Ben Simmons stays healthy, Kevin Durant stays healthy, and Kyrie are all allowed to play throughout the whole playoffs.
I think the only worry is Kyrie. I think Ben Simmons will be fine. I think he's
I
a little.
I think Ben
little
Simmons
bit
will
of
come
faking
back.
it. I think he's faking it a little bit. I think he's just getting back in shape right now. Kyrie, he's not big of a problem because his only problem is vaccination status, and that's something that he's not going to change. And he's just got to wait to see if New York will ever change it. So
Yeah, we're not.
and
we're not waiting on
KD's
Kyrie.
usually healthy in the playoffs. KD
Yeah.
usually plays every game. He only had
Yeah, I
that
think
bad
KD will be
ACL
fine.
injury.
We're not waiting on Kyrie. We're waiting on the government for Kyrie to play,
Yeah.
which is a risky thing to take. But I think if the Nets are fully healthy, I think they're
Scary.
they got to be the favorites. What don't
Yeah.
they have on their team?
They have it all. So
We forget that Ben Simmons is one of is the best offensive guard in the NBA when healthy.
yeah,
So
and
it's
you can say Kevin Durant's one of the best playoff performers.
Yeah, so I mean
after
they'll
last
be
year,
really good
so.
come playoff time. Speaking of teams that look good coming playoff time, the Heat seem to be very hot recently. They beat the Bulls by 13 the last game. Honestly, they look like the team to beat when you think about it. So I want you guys. I know Jerry's a little biased, so let's weigh in on who we think the Heat are and can they make it to a non-bubble championship?
Drew, you can go
Jerry?
ahead. Oh, you want me to go?
You go, Jay.
All right. Well, obviously, I'm a Heat fan, so I'm gonna have a lot of high praise for them. But I mean, this is the best team since 2013, 2014 with LeBron. It's the first time they're 20 games above 500 since 2013, 2014. They're the number one seed, 2 games above. They beat the Bulls last night by 22. DeMar was on a hot streak, averaging 30 a game. He had 18 last night. You didn't hear a single peep about that in the media. They can go 10 deep. They're about to get Oladipo back soon. They're just not a team you want to face in the playoffs, you know? Like, you can sit down and look at all the teams. I think the Heat have the best depth in the East. Who wants to play that team in a 7-game series? Do you really think that a team can beat them in the 4-game series? The only team I think that can is the Bucks, and then if the 76ers stay healthy. It's the only 2 teams. It's the only 2 teams that scare me. So
Yeah,
I think
mean,
the Heat got the 1 seed on lock if they just can.
it's very
healthy.
cliche, but I mean, offense might win you some games in the regular season, but defense really does win you championships come playoff time.
Yep.
When you're able to play to personnel, just studying weeks of film, playing personnel, you have a great coach behind them. Especially when Victor comes back, they're gonna be a scary team.
I mean, they can lock up all 5. I mean, Bam's one of the best. Bam can guard 1 through 5. Oladipo's really good. Haven't seen him in a while. PJ Tucker, underrated. Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler. I mean, there's so much depth on that team.
They have the depth, the leadership, and the stars you need to win a championship. Drew.
Yep.
You have anything to add? I feel like we pretty much hit all the bases.
I don't think they're the clear team to beat, but I definitely believe that they're one of the 4. And I think the other 3 are the 76ers, Bucks, and Nets, if the Nets can stay healthy. But if the Nets can't stay healthy, then I think it's the teams to beat are going to be the Heat, 76ers, and Bucks. And I think the X factor for the Heat is how good can Victor Oladipo be when he gets back.
If he comes back and is healthy,
if he comes back and is like good, like what he was in like Indianapolis, then I mean I think they're definitely a favorite. But I mean, Giannis, I mean they're the defending champs for a reason. I mean they're I don't care like who it is, you know, they're defending champs. They're going to be one of the teams to beat because you know they're defending champs. And the 76ers, I just think that James Harden and Joel Embiid are so lethal that you can never count them out. So I would just put them up on the top. But I definitely agree that the Heat are definitely in that category of one of the teams to beat.
If you named your 4 teams to beat, were you just talking about the East or in the whole NBA?
I'm talking about the East.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you add from the West
over the Nets?
I would add the Warriors and the Suns.
I think the East, if we like our whole lives pretty much following the NBA, we're always like the West is so much better than the East. The East is so weak. But now, if you look at the East compared to the West,
the East is better than the West.
East
by far.
But the Nets are the worst, are the A seed in the East right now.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
The West is terrible this year.
It's bad. I mean, you're gonna have the championship in the Eastern Conference Finals. What's it looking like?
No, I think the 2 best teams could be the Suns and the Warriors. I think the West has 2 of the best teams. Yes, you look at their records. I mean, the Suns with Chris Paul are such a tough team to beat, and then honestly, the Warriors, they have Steph Curry. So
if you look at the Heat, Sixers, Bucks, Bulls. The only team I'm adding from the West.
I still don't think. I don't think the Bulls.
You don't think so?
I think they're in the next tier.
I think Bulls are a one and done this year.
Yeah, I think they can get easily upset, but
I think everyone jumped on them so fast.
Well,
the only team I'm adding from those 4 from the West are the Suns.
Yeah,
I don't think the Warriors will go for the playoffs.
I like the Grizz.
Dude, they got the experience. I like the Warriors, dude. I like Steph. I like Clay. I like Draymond. They're gonna get James Wiseman back. Draymond. I really like Gary Payton II. I love that man. He's so much fun to watch.
You got Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole, yeah.
They got depth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to watch the Warriors in the playoffs because that team. I hate the Warriors because of how much success they've had over the years. I'm tired of seeing the same team win. But I mean, that team is a whole lot of fun to watch. Just how well they shoot the ball.
What I would say what separates them though from their prior teams in the past, well, not in last year's team, but like 2016, 2015. But this team, if Steph struggles, it's very hard for that team to win a game.
Yeah.
But like in 2015, like Steph struggled like in the playoffs and they still would find a way to win. If Steph has 2 bad games to start off the series, they're done. They're not going to come back from a 2-0 against a solid team. That's the only reason I don't see them being that contender this year at least.
I think it's Western Conference Finals. It's going to be Suns Warriors, and then if any of those teams get upset, it's going to be by the Grizz because any team with John Morant.
Yeah, the Grizzlies team, that'd be a story though because they're so young.
Yeah,
led by such a young player. It looks like a young LeBron potentially.
What?
As far as being able to,
he's a young AI.
Yeah, that's a better comparison. Not in terms of I'm not talking about like young LeBron in terms of like dominance or physical. I'm talking about like young leader being able to carry that team.
Yeah, nobody thought they would be the 3 seed in the West.
So I mean, hold up. My lighting's getting wrong. All right. So as we said earlier, the East and the West pretty much a lot of the good teams are towards the bottom of the standing. So I mean, a lot of teams need to heat up soon. So what I want to take a look at is if the season ended today, what would the playoff bracket look like? So do you guys want to start with the East or the West? I can give you the teams in the East or West.
Let's do West first.
Okay, so the West. So if you don't know how the play-in game works, the 9 and 10 play and the 7 and 8 play. The winner of the 7 and 8 game fulfills the 7th spot in the playoffs. And the loser goes and plays the winner of the 9-10 game. The winner of that game fulfills the 8th spot in the playoffs. So as of today, the play-in tournament would be the Lakers versus the Pelicans in the first playoff game, 9 versus 10. And it would be Wolves versus Clippers in the 7-8 game. So, I mean, who do you guys think wins at least the 9-10 playoff game, playing game? Don't say it. Don't say it.
No, I don't. I think playoff LeBron will be different.
Okay. Yeah. I think LeBron will have like a 50 piece.
I do think that the Pelicans match up really well against the Lakers.
They do. But, I mean, I think LeBron might have a 50 piece against them. He's not losing in the first round the play-in game.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Lakers are the 9, so they have to win that game, and then they have to win another game just to make the playoffs. That's how far behind they are.
It all depends on Anthony Davis to me. It depends on his health.
If the Lakers lose, LeBron's gonna be like, "Why is there a playoff?" He's already criticized the play-in game before, and he won. Imagine how much he's gonna criticize the play-in game after
when he loses.
If they lose.
Yeah.
So I mean, all right. So hypothetically speaking, I think, goodness, it's hard to believe the Clippers are the 8 seed as injured as they are.
Yeah, and they could get PG back.
Do you think the Clippers or the Timberwolves win the 7-8?
Timberwolves.
Okay, Drew.
Yeah, I'd probably say T-Wolves because I don't think the Clippers will have much chemistry when they get back. Like,
do you think the Lakers are they all or Kawhi and PG's done, right?
Yeah.
What about Kawhi?
PG can make a return. Kawhi, if they make like the second round, Kawhi's like a definite not.
Okay,
problem.
so
but PG's most likely going to be back.
In this play-in game, they're most likely going to be missing PG and Kawhi.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Clippers, Lakers in the second round of the play-in.
The Clippers. They own the Lakers.
It's bad.
Again, I still think it depends on Anthony Davis's health.
Do you think LeBron's going to lose a play-in game though?
Yes.
No, I think playoff LeBron is different.
So
I don't think
it's
his choice. I don't think it's his choice if he loses or wins.
Yeah, he can't. And prior
That team's
teams
terrible.
in the past, the issue with like this team is teams in the past, he could just be like, give me the ball and just sit on the sideline. This team, he has Russell Westbrook, who isn't going to take a backseat. Clearly, he's been sucking all year.
This team has the worst defense of his entire career.
It's bad.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll go with the Clippers. All right, so that means the Suns would play
The Lake.
the Clippers first round,
Suns. Price 4-1 or sweep.
and then Grizzlies.
Yeah.
We're not going to go. We're just going to go first round. We're not going to go all the way through.
Yeah.
We have Grizzlies, Mavs, and then we
Grizz.
have
Ooh.
no.
that would
No,
be
I said that wrong. Grizzlies, Nuggets, Jazz,
That's a good
Mavs.
series. I think the Steven Adams is one center that could match up well with Nikola Jokic.
I think it depends on how healthy
Physicality.
Jamal Murray gets.
Yeah, isn't there a report that Jamal Murray could be back?
Yes,
If Murray's
there is,
back,
but
the Nuggets win.
And
yes, I agree.
Porter, right?
And then
Yeah,
the
but-
Jazz are the most overrated team in the playoffs of all
And
time.
I
So,
think
We've
I
seen-
think the Jazz are still better than the Mavs.
Playoff Luka is different though. He goes
Yeah,
crazy.
I'd say the Mavs, and then whoever the Warriors play, give me the
Warriors
Warriors.
play the Timberwolves. I think that's a pretty.
Give me the
Yeah,
Warriors.
will handle that.
Yeah, so we have the Suns and the Grizz, and then we have the Mavs and the Warriors. That's even though there's a bunch of junk in the West, it really evens out once you get in the second round.
Yeah.
On the East, on the other hand, here's the play-in. You have the Hornets playing the Hawks. That is not right. Yeah. Okay. Hornets playing the Hawks in the 9-10, and then the Nets playing the Raptors in the 7-8.
The Hornets Hawks game is going to be 145 to 150.
There's gonna be
Goodness,
no
zero
defense
played
in that game.
It's just whoever
That's a
whoever
tough
scores the last
game.
basket. It's whoever scores the last basket will win that game.
That's a tough
I-
game.
I think Hornets win that.
I'll tip that to the Hornets.
I give the Hornets.
I think
Hawks struggle.
Hornets and Nets.
No, the Nets are going to meet the Raptors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Nets will beat the Raptors.
Okay.
Wait,
and then
are the
Hornets
Raptors
play the
7?
Raptors.
Are the Raptors the 7?
Yes.
Then that's just so tough. But Kyrie's definitely going to play that game. But
Yeah.
I think
the
the
Raptors
Nets
is a
beat
tough
the
place to
Raptors.
play.
I think the
Yeah.
Nets beat the Raptors, and then the Raptors beat the Hornets.
Yep, I agree with that.
So the play-in
I'm
actually.
not counting. I'm not saying KD's going out first round or play.
What's funny is the Nets are actually the 8 seed right now, but it works in the Heat's favor because by winning their first play-in game, they play the Bulls instead of the Heat.
If you're the Heat, dude, you don't want to play the Nets first round.
So the Heat, instead of playing the Nets, they play the Raptors, which is much more. It's
The
not
Heat will
easier
probably
game to play.
4-1, 4-2 them. The Raptors are good, but
And then the 76ers Celtics, if the season ends today, that's a great
Wow.
series.
I think 76ers.
that's a 7-game series though.
They've had some great.
The Celtics are
and
one of the
Sixers
hottest
have had
teams
some
in the NBA.
historic.
The one of
Celtics
the
are
hottest
playing
teams in
well,
the
but
NBA.
I'm telling you, I think James Harden's gonna do.
I
something
like
with the
Brad
Sixers.
Stevens so much more than Doc.
Brad Stevens not the head coach.
What?
Brad Stevens isn't the head coach.
What's his name?
They
You
put
don't-
Brad Stevens up in the front office.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot. Frick. What's their coach now?
I don't
I
remember
forget his name. He's a good coach though. He's really good.
I completely forgot that Brad Stevens just quit coaching.
Yeah, he just took the front office job.
It's Ime Udoka.
He's good.
Yeah, he has coached.
All right, as I was saying though,
Celtics team.
regardless, Doc Rivers is such an overrated coach.
Especially for the playoffs.
Last year he got exposed in the playoffs. He got exposed whenever he was the coach of the Clippers. He could not win. He cannot win unless he has Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett.
Ray Allen, Rajon
He
Rondo.
has to have all-time greats to win some games.
Just
but he has
make
all-time
sure
greats
that
now.
just make sure that 76ers team doesn't go up 3-1 and they'll be fine.
I mean, luckily, Boston isn't really a hot spot for the club, so I'm sure James Harden they'll at least win when they play in Boston. He'll be staying up all night. So, I don't know. That game's a toss-up. That'll be a really good series. I'll probably go Sixers just because.
I'll go Sixers too.
And then we got
Plus,
Cavs Bucks.
they'll get home court advantage. They'll play 4 games there,
Yeah.
3 games in Boston.
Next we got Cavs Bucks, which is pretty much.
That does give James Harden more of a chance to eat Philly cheesesteaks, though.
The Bucks are 4-1 the Cavs.
I think
the
they'll
Cavs
sweep them.
The Cavs don't have anyone to guard Mr.
They
Yeah,
don't-
I think-
mean, you have Jarrett Allen just sitting in the paint.
He's tough inside the paint, but he's no Giannis.
They're
stopper.
also just very inexperienced compared to the team that just won the championship.
I think their struggle on the road. I think it'll be 2 embarrassing losses, and it'll just play into their home games.
That's a tough break for if this happens. Tough break for the Cavs to end their historical season on. And then the Bulls play the Raptors, which I think is an upset. Or no, Bulls play the Nets.
The Nets will upset,
which is an upset.
Yeah, the Nets will upset.
It'll be an easy upset. I think the Bulls have terrible rebounding, and their defense is not that great.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, also
although
big men.
the Bulls are 24-9 at home this year.
They're good at home, but they're 0-3 against the Heat. They're 0-2 against the Bucks. They can't beat the big teams. So
yeah, they also just don't have like the DeMar's also known for just disappearing in the playoffs. So I mean, I don't know. I think
they're
again,
1 year away.
It's another season where a historical season ends by just luck of the draw against.
They're also not fully healthy. They still don't have Patrick Williams. They don't have Lonzo Ball, and they don't have Alex Caruso. So if they get those 3 guys back, they might have a chance. But I think it's just too short of a notice.
If I was these top teams, I would be cheering for the Nets here on out. You want them to win out because you do not want. Even if you make it past the Nets, you're going to be so beaten up and tired for that second round. It's going to be rough.
The East is going to be brutal.
It's going to be – I like the East a lot more than the West as of right now. Yeah. But we'll see how that shapes up. All right. So, Jerry, as we like to do some transitions. Let's play Jerry's name game. You can give the rules so the viewers aren't confused. And then we'll get into it. And then we'll transition into NCAA.
So, I'm going to list a player stat line from an NBA game from this past week, and I will give the matchup, and Drew and Aaron will get 2 guesses each, and if they get the player right, they get the point. It's the best of 2 points. So it's best of 3. Yep.
All right, Drew, you can go to the first round. You can. I'm gonna be bad too.
This is where playing underdog came in handy. I haven't played underdog in a while.
So Cavs versus Timberwolves. I think it was Sunday. This player played 26 minutes, 26 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 5 threes. I'll give the first guess to Aaron, and then Drew, you get the first guess next round. 2 guesses each.
Shooter. I'm going to get my shot process. Shooter, but can also rebound and pass.
The
you
matchup
said Wolves, Cavs.
Cavs, yes.
My first.
I can repeat.
I'm gonna guess this is an obscure player because you're not just gonna give us a star player first to start off. I don't even know who's healthy. D'Angelo Russell.
No.
Is he healthy? Sure. Is he playing right now?
Yeah, he's playing.
Thank God. All right. I just can't.
My guess is gonna be Karis LeVert.
No.
What?
All right. So you both got it wrong.
To play?
Yeah, he's playing.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you the team now. Okay. He's on the Cavs.
Aaron. Great. Is Evan Mobley back? He'd have more than 5 rebounds. No, don't even answer that. Drew, what's that face for?
No, I'm just trying to think. Who's on the Cavs.
I'm trying to think of who's healthy on the Cavs. The Cavs had had some injuries. Lauri Markkanen.
No. Drew?
Is he healthy?
Yes.
Thank God.
He just came back.
I had 2 mediocre guesses.
So it's not Karis LeVert or Lauri. Drew.
Who's a shooter?
Is it Kevin Love?
Yes.
Gosh.
Let's go.
That's a great guess.
Good guess, Drew. All right, now since Drew won that point, he gets to go first this round as well.
My first guess is gonna be Anthony Edwards.
Why would you do a star-studded player?
Once I was like, it's gonna be an obscure player. I forgot
He
about
came off
Kevin
the
Love.
bench too, didn't he? Did he come off the bench that game?
K-Love?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave you his minutes, 26.
I didn't even think about Kevin Love
The bench.
because Kevin Love is such
Yeah.
a good rebounder. He only had 5.
All right, this was from Bucks Nets primetime game. He had 36 minutes, 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 threes. Bucks Nets.
Okay.
8 threes.
Yes.
I watched this game. I watched the end of this game.
30
How do I
points.
not remember this?
They're gonna be some obscure player dropped 30 points.
Wait,
Burke, what's his
Bobby
name?
Portis?
Yes.
No,
Let's go!
I got swept. I knew Bobby Portis because what's his name? They're at the free throw line and he was like 8. He was like, I know you could shoot, but 8.
Yeah. Yeah. 8 threes
Yes.
from Mr. Bobby
I
Portis.
saw his
The
over
last
under. His over under on underdog was 30 points and rebounds, and I remember seeing it like 43 or 42.
the last player I was gonna do is Terry Rozier. He had 33 points.
I was
5
hoping you were gonna
rebounds,
give
and 2
Russell
assists.
Westbrook stat line where it was like 15 points, no assists, 7 turnovers.
7
They're making-
turnovers.
That'd be way too obvious.
All right. I actually forgot a segment to do that Jerry had the idea of. Each week for the next 5 podcasts, we're going to give our top 5 of each current category. So this week is the top 5 current point guards in the league. How do you want to do this? Just each give our top 5?
Yeah, you start us off.
All right. I got Ja at number 1, Steph at 2, Luka at 3, CP3 at 4, and Trae Young at 5. But if Kyrie could play, he's 5.
That's my exact list.
I
I
have
have the same exact
I
list.
have the same. I have the same top 3, but then I have Trae Young, and then my 5th option is DeJounte Murray.
Over CP3?
No,
CP3
We're not, doing
has
dark,
been
we're not doing
injured.
dark horses. We're just doing your top 5.
I know, but
That's it.
CP3 he's now injured. He's going to be out pretty much most of the year, most of the rest of the regular
Yeah, but-
season. DeJounte Murray is putting up like 29-9 on a mediocre Spurs team.
He's
That's
good.
true,
He's
yeah.
definitely not a bad pick. I think it's
I'm
funny
just
that we
doing-
all picked Ja when everyone's – I think Twitter's campaigning for Steph's MVP or whatever, but his numbers are so
He-
overrated.
Steph's not MVP. He's
I thought about putting
No-
Luka
no
ahead of
shot.
Steph.
I did
Luka's
too. I
very
thought
his season's getting
Luka.
very overlooked. He's very overlooked for some reason.
he's almost averaging a triple double.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Steph
He's nice.
Steph just hit. I love like on Twitter where you can see like he's shooting a world tour when it's like his shooting numbers look like dates. It's like 7 for
Or when this dude just went
27.
like boom, and then just boom, 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 goes back down. Buckets.
He's still the best shooter in the world. You gotta give him his respect.
yeah, he's definitely the best shooter in the world. But point guard
But
right now,
he's
John
not-
Morant.
John Morant, yeah, he's so much like prime Derrick Rose.
Yeah, speaking, I'm glad we all John Morant at number 1 because then I want to ask: is it too soon or is it just the right time to consider John Morant a superstar?
I think he is a borderline superstar right now, but I definitely think in like 2 years he will be like solidified as superstar. But I think right now, I worry. I was listening to Colin when I was listening to Colin Cowherd earlier. He was talking about think about the guys like Westbrook, think about the guys like John Wall that
Derrick
play
Rose.
so fast. Derrick Rose a lot like John Morant. Sadly, and I hope this does not happen to Ja, but they all got hurt. And so I hope that Ja finds an outside game so he's not just attacking the rim every play and lands wrong or gets injured.
Yeah, some of his dunk attempts are very dangerous. He
Yeah.
rises up
So
on anyone.
hopefully he stays healthy. It'd be good. It'd be better for the league if he stays healthy. So I hope doesn't end up getting injured in one of these years. But I definitely think
he's
he's a superstar right now. But I think I think the whole world, the whole NBA fan base will know that he's a superstar in the next few years.
I think without
If
a
he's
doubt,
not already.
he's
Yeah.
a superstar.
I think he's a superstar already just because. So just to like compare to the league, I had a tier of untouchables, which are just players you could never trade for. Steph, KD, LeBron, Giannis, and Kawhi. And then
I
the
don't know
tier
if LeBron's not going to be
No, you can't trade him. Can't
Everyone's
trade
saying the
LA.
Lakers might trade him.
There's no
Unless
shot.
he asks for a trade, you can't trade him because then that's just a terrible. You can't just trade your superstar if he doesn't want to be traded.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was just saying those guys are kind of above superstardom. Those guys are solidified in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I don't. Ja is definitely an untouchable.
You think so?
Yes,
Yes.
Ja Morant's an untouchable.
I just mean untouchable in terms of no
got one of the
one
best
no
futures.
one in the league right now is on their level.
Oh, I thought you were talking about trade target.
So superstar, the tier below them, I had like Luka, Joel, Jokic, and Harden, all four really good guys. And I think Ja is slowly but surely going to be on their level any sooner rather than later. I don't see another guy. He's the guy who's on the cusp, the only guy from star to superstar.
Yeah.
He's the
Yeah,
next
I
guy to
love
get a
Ja.
giant contract. He's going to get a giant contract sooner or later.
He's going to get a
He's
fat
super good.
contract.
All right, so let's transition to NCAA. We had a crazy weekend. Absolutely absurd. Actually it is the best Saturday in college basketball ever in terms of underdogs. So I'll break down what teams lost, and then we can give you guys can give your thoughts. So number 9, Texas Tech lost to an unranked TCU team. Kentucky went to Arkansas and lost. Kansas lost at home against Baylor. Purdue lost away at Michigan State. Auburn lost away at Tennessee. Arizona lost to Colorado. And Gonzaga lost to St. Mary's away. What do you guys think about these top 10 teams? Some are understandable. Some don't make any sense at all.
I'm going to give a few things. One, I'm so happy Gonzaga got their tails whipped. That just makes me smile because they play in a bum conference. And they played the second best team in their conference, and they got absolutely whooped. If you watch that game, they got manhandled the entire game. You could just tell Gonzaga had no shot of coming and winning that game. And I think a lot of people are talking about, Texas Tech lost to an unranked TCU team. This TCU team is not bad. They had a 9-point loss to Texas at Texas. They lost to Baylor at Baylor by 10. They lost to Texas Tech at Texas Tech by 13 and ended up beating them this past Saturday. But this team, they're not. They beat LSU. LSU, they're fine, tremendous, but they're a ranked team at the game. Not a bad team. They're 16-6 on the year. So I think Texas Tech, that's not a horrendous loss. Like Baylor, losing to. Or Baylor beating Kansas. But you got like Auburn lost to a game on the road. I don't really see anything that was like. Arizona. I guess Arizona had a bad loss.
Arizona had, in my opinion, the worst loss of the week.
That's bad. They lost by 16 to an unranked Colorado team that's 19-10. He lose to a team by 16 points to a team that has double-digit losses. That's pretty sad. But all the other teams, they really played. It's not like they went in and just lost to teams like Gonzaga plays on Tuesday nights that play at the rec center on the days before. But so it was a historic day, but it was also like Purdue. They lost to a good Michigan State team. They lost. They were ranked this past week, but then now they're out of the rankings. But Purdue's a good team. I really like Purdue. So that's my thoughts.
Jerry?
The one thing that you said was, I think, all but one team was on the road. So, that just shows home court advantage.
Yeah, Kansas.
It's something else this year.
Kansas was at home. Got waxed.
Yeah. Kansas.
But they still played a
beat
top
Baylor.
10 team.
Kansas beat Baylor at home by 30, and then they go to Baylor and lose to Baylor. So, that just shows home court advantage is like nothing else in college sports.
Facts.
Why Auburn's
it's
not
awesome
good.
to see.
Why Auburn's not good.
Yeah,
Auburn is a very good home team.
You'll see some true teams colors when they play in the conference tournament neutral courts.
Neutral court. I think neutral court, like if you look at this year, neutral court has meant this is gonna be the most it's neutral court has ever meant because teams are always just winning at home.
Yeah.
Teams
Yep.
have gotten so
Kentucky,
good at winning at
Tennessee,
home.
and Auburn all undefeated at home.
And Arkansas, who could beat Kentucky, has only one loss at home.
Yeah.
So I mean, these teams are now we can wear out. I mean, yeah, every team loses, but man, what made me the most mad after all this happened, we were all talking about what's gonna happen to the AP poll, and the AP poll drops when Monday at 12,
Monday 12, yes.
and it is embarrassing, very embarrassing. So my thoughts
Terrible.
My thoughts going in are, if you lose, you should be punished in the rankings, regardless. You lost. Your AP poll is based off of that last week, and in your low ranking, the number next to your name. And some teams didn't get punished whatsoever for terrible losses. So I'll give. How far should I go down, and then we can give our thoughts.
We're doing our top 15.
No, I want to say the AP. So should I say all 15?
Just
Just
say
go like top
I'll
10.
go to-
Just go top 10.
Top
just
10?
do the top 10 teams. Yeah. 'Cause
Okay,
that
so
seems a lot.
Gonzaga remained at 1. Arizona remained at 2. Both after probably the worst losses of the week. The best 2 teams didn't move down at all, which made no sense. Baylor moved up 7 spots after beating Kansas to number 3. Duke moved up 3 to number 4. Auburn dropped 2 after losing to Tennessee. Kansas only dropped 1 after getting the brakes beat off of them. Kentucky dropped 1. Purdue dropped 4. Providence moved up 2, which is a very overrated program. Wisconsin moved up 3. Villanova went down 3, so that's 11. And then I'll give Texas Tech because they were in the top 10. They dropped to 12 after being at 9.
I think this is a tough week to be on the AP poll, but my thoughts on the AP poll is nobody really cares about the AP poll now because, one, they do that March Madness show where it actually shows like who the top 4 seeds would be, like 1 through 4, if the season ended today. So, I mean, the AP poll means nothing. Like now, it meant something in like beginning of January, but now we're to the point where it doesn't really matter. All that matters is getting the best seed in your conference tournament, giving your best team, like giving the best chance to win. Because, like, especially for the SEC, like they're going to be that on Selection Sunday. SEC always plays that championship game on that Sunday afternoon, right before. So I mean, the selection committee is going to be riding high on that team, whoever just wins, because everyone's like, oh, they're this good, and that's their final like taste in their mouth that they're going to leave. So I don't think the AP poll doesn't bother me as much until you get. The only thing that bothers me are the top 2 teams remaining the same after having 2 terrible losses. But that's the only thing that really stands out and just bothers the heck out of me. Other than Baylor, I hate Baylor being a 5-loss team and being the 3rd-ranked team in the country.
Moving up 7.
Moving up 7.
Well, I mean,
after winning at home.
I mean, they were the one team that won that weekend. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
that's
it's understandable, but the
I
fact
think that's
that
the only thing
number
they got
1 team
right.
in the country, yeah, the number 1 and the number 2 team in the country really bothers me because they both lost.
What makes me the most mad is Gonzaga just beats up on a bunch of high
Terrible
school teams, and then they lose and they don't get punished whatsoever. That just shows there's a clear bias at least in the AP media. And I think it's time for the NCAA to, why not just get rid of rankings? Like, what do rankings matter?
No, they won't get rid of rankings because it's what draws viewership.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just say Kentucky's playing Ole Miss tonight,
That makes
the
sense.
7th
You're right.
7th ranked Kentucky team's playing Ole Miss tonight. It just adds something.
Why
else to
can't
it.
is there no other way? Like, the coaches poll is probably a better, more accurate assessment than the media, than us.
Yeah, but I feel
practically.
like some coaches don't care, or they're just biased.
Right.
This is football related. Dabo.
Now we're in the
had
point. This
Ohio
is
State at 11.
Yeah,
and
that
they
was
beat
bad.
them in the
I
playoffs.
remember that was bad. But I mean, the media doesn't know any. They don't know much more than us about basketball. Clearly,
Yeah.
It's
I mean-
March 1st now. The AP rankings don't matter anymore to me. It's all about who's winning the conference tournaments.
I just want to see who's voting in the AP. Like, what was their thought process? Not even thinking. Like, Gonzaga had the most votes by far. It wasn't close.
The most exciting thing for me is now, like we talked about this earlier, everyone's playing on a neutral court. Now let's
Yeah.
really see who's the best team in each conference.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I want to do now is each of us go around giving if we were the AP poll, where would you rank teams after this crazy season or crazy week? After this crazy week, where would you put these top 10 teams? We'll go all
We're
the way
going
down to
around?
15. But yeah, one thing I'd also like to hit on is Arkansas being ahead of Tennessee being ahead of Arkansas in the AP. After
that's
Arkansas and
terrible.
Tennessee have beat the same guys, and Arkansas also beat Tennessee, it doesn't make much sense if you look at it. So, who wants to start? Who wants to give their best? Who thinks should be the number 1 seed?
Are we going? I thought we were going 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
5.
yeah, yeah. But who wants to start?
Okay. Drew, you can start with the 1.
With the number, who do I think is like should be number 1?
After this week,
Yeah.
just not this is not a power rankings. There's no power rankings. This is
It's just
after this. I mean, if you look at their previous rank, who do you think should be 1?
I'm probably gonna say Duke.
Duke moving from 7 to 1.
Well,
Yes,
all
'cause
6
the top-
teams in front of him lost.
Because
that's
all the
not-
teams in front
I
of
don't
them
hate that
lost.
logic at all. I don't hate that logic at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Duke.
Just curiosity. We won't do this for everyone. Jerry, who did you have for 1?
That Duke.
You had Duke too. You know who
Yeah.
I had?
Who?
Tennessee.
I had Auburn at 1
I
Okay.
had them at 2.
because hear my logic. It might be crazy that they lost and went to number 1, but
They had the best loss.
they had besides Kentucky, they had the best loss. And they were 3. So my thinking was Auburn. They lost to a crazy home team, and the top 2 teams in front of them had terrible losses. Why not just move them up? But AP doesn't think logically. All right, so Jerry, give your 2. You said Auburn already.
Yeah, my 2 is Auburn.
Okay, so my 3 was Kentucky because even though they moved up for a loss, they lost to a great home team, and the teams in front of them had terrible losses.
So Drew 4.
I'd go with Gonzaga.
You had them dropping 3.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they still lost. I mean, everyone rips on their conference. Yeah, like I hate Gonzaga, but I mean, they lost to a team that was on fire, playing on senior night on the road. It's packed. I mean, that team is now what are they ranked in they're 19th. They're the 19th best team in the nation now.
Well,
I mean,
I'm just saying 3. I had Gonzaga.
That's a whole lot better loss than losing to Colorado.
I had Gonzaga 4.
Okay. So 5.
Add Baylor. I think they ranked them perfect. I think they ranked them perfect.
Yeah. I have now. You guys had Duke at 1. I had Duke at 6.
I think Purdue is 6. I really like.
I had Purdue 6.
I had
Purdue 6.
So I had Duke at 6 because I pretty much had the top 3 just jumbled in the top 5, and then I added Baylor and Kentucky. So Duke. The only reason I just had them at 6 is they just didn't lose throughout the week. They move up 1.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So 7, Drew.
Well, I mean, you took my UK one. I had Arizona
At 7.
Yeah.
I think Arizona is very overrated. So I mean,
I
that's
had
fair.
Arizona at 7 as well.
Okay, I put Kansas at 7.
For 8. I had Wisconsin.
Okay.
I like that Wisconsin team.
8. I had Kansas. Since they lost to a Baylor team who was top 10 in the nation ranked. So I don't think I'd move them
on
down
8,
too far.
Yeah, you're 9.
9. I have
Yeah.
Arkansas
Me too.
because I mean they beat a very good Kentucky team. Even though you can say it was at home, only gets you so far. They still had to beat them.
Yeah.
So I mean, Arkansas looks
Note
very
played.
good. They have very
Note is one of the best players in the country.
yes. Arkansas is very good wins, but keep in mind all 3 of their great wins are at home. So we'll see what they can do in the SEC tournament.
Neutral court. They
So
got Tennessee
10.
coming up. So
Yeah, at
Yeah.
Tennessee.
For what are we on 9?
10.
10.
10. I think Providence. They went to 3 overtimes with Xavier. I think that's correct. I mean,
Providence.
They didn't have a. Yeah, Providence played Xavier. Went to 3 overtimes. I don't think they should have moved up 2 spots. I think they should have stayed put at 11.
I actually moved.
They just lost tonight, by the way. They lost. to
Yeah, they just
Villanova.
lost.
Good,
They just
good. I
lost
should
to
be in AP
Villanova.
because I moved Providence down even after winning.
I moved them down. I'm not high
So-
on Providence.
So 11.
Yeah, that's me, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, you didn't say my. Have we done Texas Tech yet?
No, we
I
have
don't
not.
think we
No.
have. So
Texas.
I'm gonna move
Texas Tech
Texas Tech.
was my 11.
I'm gonna move Texas Tech to 11. I had
Okay.
Tennessee at 11, but I'm gonna move Texas Tech to 11
Okay.
because I think they're better.
So 12.
Yes.
I had Nova.
Yeah,
That's
I had
respectable.
12. I had Nova at 12.
Good win after today as well. So
Actually, no, I'm
Um,
gonna change it. I'm gonna have. Actually, no, I'm gonna have Nova and then I'm gonna have Arkansas.
so who do you have, Drew? 13.
Yeah, I put Arkansas at 13.
Okay,
But
and
they're
then
not
I
yet
guess
Arkansas.
That means what was Arkansas last week? 18. Okay, okay.
Yeah. I mean, they played at home.
14. I'll put Tennessee since nobody said them. Although I think
Yeah,
they should have
right
gone
now
a
we're
little
just
more.
right now we're just filling in teams. Once we
I
got
think
past 10, it
Tennessee's
kind of
gonna
got
win.
rocky. So we were
Yeah.
good up to 10, I think, and then we just kind of took each other's teams. But I think regardless, our lists are much better than the AP because they just don't think logically. I feel like how they just do an eye test. An eye test is for, in my opinion, eye test is for power rankings. If you're gonna do an official AP poll or whatever, it should be based
Yeah.
off what they did last week.
Iowa's a good team that I think should be top 15. They were my 15th.
I
They're
had
hot. They're one of the hottest
Iowa is a
teams
good
in the
team.
country right now.
Iowa.
Keegan
I
Murray.
mean, they're
Keegan
at
Murray.
24.
Iowa's down 24.
They're at 20.
They're at-
No, they're at like the 24 in the.
Oh, they're
rankings.
way down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
the
because they got
AP
a cold start.
Yeah, we just
but
wore AP's bad.
They got a game on Sunday against Illinois though at home. That'll be or at Illinois. That'll be a good game.
At the end of the day, though, the AP can only do so much wrong until they just get proved that how bad they are come tournament time. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna see Gonzaga is not the best team in the nation.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I agree.
after this long weekend, we're gonna give our final 4 teams. Pretty much, you could just close your eyes and probably do like a random college generator, and it's not a bad pick.
That'll
It's-
be
At the end of the day, it's not a bad pick because it's up in the air. Everyone is food. So I want everyone to give their final 4. There's literally a 1% chance is 100% right. Probably less out of 4
Mine's
teams.
100. Mine's 100% right.
All right, let's hear yours. North Texas. Let's hear yours.
North Texas. No, I'm just joking. I have Kentucky, Texas Tech, Purdue, and Iowa because I think Iowa's the hottest team in the country.
I had to
and
count
then-
my trust 4.
I think North Texas ends up getting the 5th seed in the Final Four and ends up winning it all. It's a double elimination bracket this year.
Oh, really? Just throwing in a team in the final 4. All
No,
right.
they already got the seed. So
I don't. You can't even criticize anyone's final 4 because at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right, Drew.
Yeah.
Last week I felt like we could have criticized each other because there were definitive best teams, but now doesn't matter. Drew, who are your final 4?
all right. Mine was Kentucky, Purdue.
UCLA.
No, Kentucky, Purdue, Texas Tech, and my last one.
Thanks,
Everyone's gonna be like question marks, but this is March. Murray State. They're 28-2 on the year.
kick this guy out of the podcast, bro.
Okay.
Murray State. They are number 22 in the nation.
Overrated, by the way.
They're overrated.
But
They're not better than
they-
Alabama.
They played Auburn.
More AP poll
played-
stuff.
They played Auburn back in November and only lost by like 10. So
Was it at Auburn?
and
At Murray State?
I'm pretty
Is
sure
that Auburn? You
Yeah,
think
it was
Auburn's going
at-
to go to Murray State?
It was
You
at
think
Auburn.
you think
It was
Auburn's
in
gonna win at
December.
Murray
It was
State?
3 days. It was 3 days before Christmas. 3 days before Christmas. They're 28-2. Their roster is a lot of what when John Morant was there. They didn't really. So they
Do they
had
have a John Morant?
experience.
No. It's just a bunch of depth.
Dude, who would have
Very
thought
good
that
coach
Loyola
too.
Chicago would go that far?
All right,
I think,
so
I think that's a good one. I just don't see a Murray State kind of team going that
so
far.
for mine, we all had Kentucky in ours because I think even though we're from here, Kentucky just has everything you need in a team.
Yeah,
This
make
is
a run.
this is Cal's. Isn't this Cal's like oldest? Not like technically oldest, but in terms
It's,
of
his,
who he
it's one of his
plays.
oldest. Since
They showed a
since
graphic
the-
on Saturday or Saturday maybe that was like this is the least amount he's ever played freshman.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Finally,
he's hitting the transfer portal finally instead of just playing freshman.
yeah. Well, I mean, the NCAA's kind of made the transfer portal a lot nicer.
He's transferring Michigan.
So, also in the Final Four, I'm keeping my dark horse in there, Michigan State. After beating Purdue, my Michigan State dark horse looks very nice, even though they got rammed earlier in the week. Also, I have, like Drew said earlier, it's March Madness. I have Rutgers because Rutgers just manages to beat all the good teams and just
You're making
lose to
fun of
trash
you're making
teams.
fun of me. You're making fun of me for Murray
Hold up,
State.
hold up. Let me say, Rutgers can beat the good teams, but they lose to the bad teams. But March Madness, no one's bad, so they can beat. They're just gonna be beating.
That's
the good
what I'm
teams.
saying. That's why I said Murray State.
And then
The
I got,
Racers, baby.
But Murray State hasn't beat a good team yet.
Yeah, neither is Gonzaga.
Fair enough. Oh, then I got
Good
Tennessee
point.
at 4. I got Tennessee at 4.
All right,
Yeah,
that's fair.
Gonzaga actually did play a somewhat decent schedule at the beginning of the year.
All right, so we pretty much wore down this past week because last year was a whole lot easier. Last week was a whole lot easier to come up with some content because it was our first one. This week we just simply relied on what happened this week. So we're nearing towards the end of the episode, but as we like to do on the first and now the second podcast, we're gonna end with come take a seat on Daddy's lap. It's time for Aaron's hot take. Or hot
Never
seat.
say that
Frick.
again.
It's Aaron's hot seat.
Never say that again. Don't
Come
call
take a
yourself
seat
daddy.
on Daddy's lap. So
not
the
going.
first question, you guys know the rules. If you don't know the rules, I give Jerry and Drew both 30 seconds each to answer a question I give them. Whoever I think had the best response to my question gets a point. So best of 3. I'll ask 2 questions, and if it's a tie, we'll go to a tiebreaker. First question is, the Lakers have been struggling greatly and can't seem we all thought that LeBron would turn it around at All-Star break, but they still haven't. Who is to blame for the Lakers' continued struggles and why? Drew, you can go first. 30 seconds. 30 seconds on the clock. Go.
Who's to blame for the rain struggles? I think this is pretty straight, simple, and it's not who everyone thinks it is. It's not Russell Westbrook. It's the front office. The front office should not have gotten a bunch of old guys who can't guard, sit down and play defense, and just guys that don't really care. They turn the ball over and they immediately look at the refs. This team reminds me a lot of that team that had Dwayne Wade on the Cavs, where they just the final score was 180 to 176, and in 3 quarters, like it was like watching the All-Star game. They don't play defense. They whine. They don't. I mean, they just throw their hands up at each other.
Good answer. Good response. Good response. Jerry, 30 seconds on the shot clock. Can you come up with a better response than Drew? Yeah.
It's everyone but LeBron. I mean, except Westbrook's getting way too much hate. They have no depth. Anthony Davis is made out of Legos. Melo think he's still in his prime, pulling up from half court. Frank Vogel is having a terrible coaching year. He doesn't know how to play these guys. They cut DeAndre Jordan, and they go and sign DJ Augustine, who's 34 years old and hasn't been in the league for the past 2 years. And then instead of re-signing Alex Caruso, they go get Kendrick Nunn, who's been out for the past 3 months, and they get Melo.
Time. This is rough. Because Drew gave the response I was looking for, but Jerry gave the response and more. So I have to give the response. I have to give it to Jerry. The issue I had with the Lakers this week is cutting an old guy and replacing him with another old guy.
With another old guy.
It made no
Yes.
sense.
What they
They-
could have
they
done to
cut-
fix it is make trades at the trade deadline. They sat on their butts and did nothing.
You know
Yeah,
what? You know what? I'm gonna
There's
say this
nothing
round's
you
a
can do to
tie.
fix it.
I'm gonna say this round's a tie because you guys both get the answer I was looking for. This is all subjective. It's me. I'm the guy. So second question. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
So second question is there a player in college basketball right now, if you're around the 15th mark in the NBA and you have the 15th pick, is there a player really worth trading some assets for? I'm talking multiple first rounds, maybe your second best player. Is there a player in this draft where you're like, man, that guy's a game changer? Jerry, are you ready?
Yeah.
Go. 30 seconds.
I would say this is a very lottery-heavy draft. You got Jabari Smith, Keegan Murray, Ben Caro, Jaden Ivey. But outside of that, I don't think there's a reason to trade up for that 15th spot. Maybe you get Walker Kessler, but he's not going to be a a primetime player for them. I mean, there's nobody outside the top 14 that's going to change your franchise around. So there's no point in trading up. I'd trade out if I was any of the teams. I don't think this is a very star-heavy draft.
Time. Right at 30 seconds. Drew, go.
I basically said a lot of what he said. I would sit put if I was in that like 15 to 19 range. But if I'm in the 6 to 10 range and I get a guy and I can get a chance to go get a guy like Jabari Smith or Paulo Banchero, I'm making the move for it. I think those guys are very good. I don't think they'll have to give up as much as they would if they're like in the 16 range. And like Jerry said, it's a very top-heavy draft. Like there's a lot of good players in the draft, but it's not very deep. So I'd look to trade up and get like one of those guys because I think those guys could be studs along with Chet Holmgren. But if I'm in like the 15, I'm not giving up enough because I don't think they're like the next Zion Williamson where it's like a can't miss prospect.
All right, time. So both again pretty much gave the answer I was looking for. It's very top heavy. If you can't get that top 3, I would sit still or even like Jerry said, go. You could trade it like back in the draft, get some assets, and then get a steal because it's very possible to get a steal in this draft after you get past the first 10 guys. So because of that, I'm going to give Jerry the point for this round. But does not mean game over because I want to see what you guys have to say about my last question. As we saw after the end of the Arkansas-Kentucky game, Cal took his players to the locker room early so they could avoid that end of post-game handshake or whatever, endanger the players in case they rush the court. Do you guys think it's time to get rid of the handshake at the end of the game? As we saw earlier this week, last week we saw Juwan Howard. If we don't have the handshake thing at the end of the game, Juwan Howard does not throw a punch. Also, if you watch high school basketball, if you've seen that kid get knocked out and lay up or at the end of the handshake, maybe it's time that we quit being sportsmanlike and we just be men and go back to the locker rooms at the end of the game. Maybe you do like the NBA, like NBA style, where you just dap up your friends and go to the locker room at the end of the game. What should we do? 30 seconds. Drew, since you're behind, you get to go first. Go.
All right. Well, first of all, I don't understand why Juwan Howard and the Michigan team can't walk through a handshake line and just say, good game. Like, it is not that hard. That is like 2-year-old stuff that he did. So the least that Juwan Howard can do is be a grown man and walk through the line and show some respect to his opponent, no matter if they win or lose. So I think it's dumb to get rid of the handshake line because we're just acting like babies. Oh, we lost. Oh, wow. I'm going to walk away and not even show my respect to the other team. Heck no.
All right, Jerry, 30 seconds. This can either make or break you. You can either go 1-1 or 2-0 to start the podcast. 30 seconds, go.
I think a handshake line is a lot of maturity and being you go head to head for 48 minutes or 40 minutes or 32 minutes, depending on where you play. And you're going to talk trash. You're going to get in their face and say whatever you want. And then at the end of the game, you're going to go over there and you're going to shake that man's hand. And Juwan Howard did not do that. And I think that's just embarrassing on the head coach. You don't get rid of the handshake line just because of one person's mistakes.
All right, time. So my thoughts are actually contrary to yours. I think we should get rid of it. Simply because I think we don't need to be told to just go shake their hand. I think at the end of the game, you should like in a free area. Because at the end of the day, what's a handshake doing? We've been in handshakes before.
Showing signs of respect.
You're not exactly in a handshake
exactly.
line. In a handshake line, I never was like good game.
It's not the NCAA's fault that Juwan Howard act like he was 5 years old.
After a game, I never was like good game after losing. I was always this. And I stuck my hand like this.
Jerry, we're giving him negative points. We're not overthrowing the host.
You
So-
lost. You're 0-1.
You lose.
I cannot lose this game. This is my game. So based on
writing.
Also, what the issue I had with both of you guys' responses were Juwan Howard didn't instigate it. The head coach instigated it.
You still don't
Yeah,
throw
but
a
either one,
punch.
it threw a punch.
Yeah, Juwan Howard threw the punch, but if you don't have the handshake line, the head coach doesn't grab him by his
If
waist.
Juwan Howard has a brain, he won't punch a dude.
I think
Five team.
You
You can't
know.
act like that.
All right. So after I can't give you guys points. So after full consideration of the past 3 rounds, Drew, of course, went into this undefeated 1-0, and he's coming out 1-1. Drew, you win. You get 30 seconds to say whatever you want. Go.
This is my last podcast. I'm going out as a winner. I want to thank nobody. I did this all by myself. I got here by myself. If my mom got to this part, or my dad, or my stepmom, or my grandma, or my grandpa, I want to say what's up. That's about it. All I got.
Holy cow! They actually listen. My dad quit.
Drew,
the first
you have
5
10
minutes.
seconds to fill his time. 10 seconds. 8, say whatever you want. 7.
Oh, well, I was
3.
gonna thank everyone, but then my dad wouldn't even make it through the
Time.
first 5
Shut up.
minutes,
Quit
so I
talking.
don't
Quit
care.
talking. Quit talking. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 2. The first time in any time I've been a content creator have I posted. Have I been able to post 2 times in 1 week? Or 2? Yeah, right. Yeah, it's been a
No,
week.
2 times. No, 2.
2 times consecutively. I have. If you look at my old podcast, I posted once a month. Keki Ron's dead. So as a group, we've done well. Of course, we had some battles with Drew being able to prepare, but at the end of the day, we're running strong.
I can't help it. I
Out
want
of
to go
Shape
watch some baseball. Man.
podcast is running. We are running strong
Yep.
every week.
Yep.
What is this, Tuesday?
Yep.
Every Tuesday, coming to you to make love
Well,
to
it's
your
actually-
sweet ears.
It's actually gonna be Wednesday because
Yeah, we'll post this on Wednesday. But I think I think it's a good motto. Hold up, before we leave, is that a good motto? Out of Shape podcast, making sweet love to your ears.